guys, I'm Samantha and I am here to do my Tarot TBR pulls for the month of May. And apparently it is making up for the times it was being nice to me the last few months. So let's go ahead and get into the card draws. Let's do the 3-card draw for May. We're using my French-inspired deck this time around. There's one. You have the Emperor. Two, we have the Devil. And 3. This one. We have 7 of Pentacles. Okay, so for the Emperor card, we have to pull a slip from my Witch's Brew cauldron. There's really not much in here right now because I'm still working on some tweaks, but let's see what things are in here. These will be arcs and stuff that I got from NetGalley and have been sent. All my friends are there. Alright, we have Thornhenge by T. King. Now for the Devil, we have to break out the playing card deck that has a book that is from, that was been recommended by someone here on BookTube. So let me give these a shuffle. Oh, 2 came out with that one. Let's see. We have The Traveling Cat Chronicles and Alone with You in the Ether, which I think I have Alone with You in the Ether, so that will work out for me. Lastly, we have a Pentacles card, so we have to draw a card from Moonology deck. So let me shuffle properly here. Sorry for the shadows. Apparently it's going to be a busy month. So we have 6 cards. Lovely. Let's see. We have Cardinal Moon, Be Bold and Make the First Move. New Moon in Gemini, Communication is Key. New Moon in Aries, it's time to take action. Full Moon in Capricorn, the end of a tough cycle approaches. New Moon in Cancer, you and your loved ones are safe. And Full Moon in Aries, a fiery climax approaches. So those are the pulls for May. So you can see it was being pretty mean. Now for April, I did start the 3 mandatory books, but I didn't finish them. But at least I started them. I'm currently in the middle of them right now. I'm reading them, a couple of them for a certain reading vlog that I have, and I'm trying to take it easy with my reading and this year with just how hectic my mental health has been. Things tend to slow down for me whenever I start to get stressed. So I'm trying not to put too much pressure on myself to finish these books, but as long as I at least get one of them started, I'm not gonna have myself do additional cards. But Fates had decided that I need additional cards, so let me get into the picks. The first card I ended up drawing was the Emperor. He is a professional and competent type of card. He's incredibly attentive. He makes tough decisions, but he's good in a crisis. He has authority, stability, and common sense. So I need a book with a strong lead character. And with this card too, I also had to pull a strip from the Witch's Brew cauldron. So a book with a strong lead character, I'm going to go with Bring Me Your Midnight by, I believe it's Rachel Griffith, I believe. I have it written down differently in my notes, but I believe it's Rachel Griffith. My friend Kim with Whimsical Narratives had recommended this book to me, and it will also be featured in an upcoming vlog. And I'm excited to get to it because I did read Nature of Witches. A couple of years ago I had an arc from NetGalley from it and I really enjoyed it. So I have good hopes for this one that I would enjoy it as well. It's about witches, so I am automatically gonna love it. And the strip that I got from the Cauldron is for the book Thornhenge. The Witch's Brew Cauldron is all about me needing to get through the arcs. I was sent this last year by Tor. It is I believe it's supposed to be like a Rapunzel retelling, but from a different point of view. It says, meet Toadling. On the day of her birth, she was stolen from her family by the fairies, but she grew up safe and loved in the warm waters of fairyland. Once an adult, though, the Fae asks a favor of Toadling, return to the home world and offer her a blessing of protection to a newborn child. Simple, right? If only. Centuries later, a knight approaches a towering wall of brambles, where the thorns are as thick as your arm and as sharp as swords. He's heard there's a curse here that needs breaking, but it's a curse Toadling would do anything to uphold. And it's a pretty short and sweet novel. It's been, on the front of it, it's been blurbed by Catherine Addison, Naomi Novik, Catherine Arden, and Tamora Pierce and Juliette Marillier. Naomi Novik, Catherine Arden, and Tamora Pierce. I've read from them, enjoyed their books. Tamora Pierce is one of my favorite authors, so I trust her judgment when it comes to this. I just, for some reason, haven't gotten around to it, so hopefully this is the month that I get to it. Next card I got was the Devil card. You're finding yourself stuck in a rut. So with this, I will do a reread, and as I'm recording this, I actually did my reread just yesterday because it's the 2nd of the month, and I reread Mooncakes. This is a graphic novel, like a young adult, I would say young adult graphic novel about a witch and a werewolf as they try to join forces as they try to get rid of a demon that is invading their small town, and it is a friends to lovers romance as well. It's super cute. I loved rereading it. I gave it 4.5 stars when I first read it, and it upheld that rating. So I, thank goodness, at least know that I'm not getting additional cards next month because I read this book. But because I got the Devil card, I had to pull from the BookTube Recommends deck, playing card deck, and I got four of Gryffindors for this deck because it's a Hogwarts theme. And I got the Traveling Cat Chronicles. I had heard a lot about this book. I don't recall the name of the author at the top of my head, but I will have the covers of the books that I talk about here. I heard a lot about it. I'm hesitant to kind of start it because I think this is the one I heard that it's really heartbreaking in some parts. And sometimes when it comes to cats and heartbreak, I don't do well because, as you all know, if you are a constant watcher of this channel, I have a herd of cats myself, so they are the loves of my life, my children, even though they irritate me sometimes. But yeah, anything that like has to do with sadness with cats, I tend to like not do too well with, but hopefully it isn't too bad. And then I got 8 of Ravenclaws, and it is Alone with You in the Ether by Olivia Blake. I've heard a lot about this. This was also recommended to me by my friend Mariah that I'm going to get to for another reading vlog. I'm doing, if you can't tell, I'm doing reading vlogs where my friends pick out my books. That will eventually come in the future, but this was one of them, and I'm actually happy that this was pulled out of that deck because I've been meaning to pick this up, and I was sent this from Bramble, which is Tor's romance, or Macmillan's imprint, romance imprint. It just, on the back says, Chicago, sometime. 2 people meet in the Art Institute by chance. Prior to their encounter, he's a doctoral student who manages his destructive thoughts with compulsive calculations about time travel. She is a bipolar counterfeit artist undergoing court-ordered psychotherapy. By the end of the story, these things will still be true, but this is not a story about endings. For Reagan, people are predictable and tedious, including and perhaps especially herself. She copes with the dreariness of existence by living impulsively, imagining a new alternative timeline being created in the wake of every rash decision. To Aldo, the world feels disturbingly chaotic. He gets through his days by erecting a wall of routine, a backbeat of rules and formulas that keep him going. Ma'am, do you have to do that? Well, I don't know if you can see her, but she's scratching. Hey, stop it. Anyways, without them, the entire framework of his existence will collapse. For Reagan and Aldo, life had been a matter of resigning themselves to the blueprints of inevitability until the two meet. Could 6 conversations with a stranger be the variable that shakes up the entire simulation? So, and the print is kind of tiny in this, so it might take me a while to get through, but I'm really interested in seeing how that holds up. And then for the last of the 3 card draws, I got 7 of Pentacles, which is the keywords for that is conservation, security, and fragility. So a book that's been on your TBR for the longest, and I had to draw some Moonology cards. Book has been on the longest. I went through my Goodreads list, and this was added, like one of the oldest ones that wasn't a reread. I am Madam X by Gianna Dilberto. Probably butchering that, and I apologize. This has been on many Tarot TBRs in the past. This is a historical fiction that is based off of the painting Madam X, I believe. So I am interested in seeing how it goes. I swear, these cats are causing chaos now. Sir, do you have to? He's been fascinated with plastic bags lately. Was that necessary? But I am hopefully going to get to this soon. I'm not too sure if it's going to be one that I would want to reread in the future whenever I do get to it, but we will see. And going to the Moonology deck. The Moonology deck was not nice to me this month. So, and when I was trying to pick out these books, my cards got like all mixed up, so they're probably not going to be in the order that I drew them or read them in the clip. The first being New Moon in Aries. It's time to take action, so I'm going to use that as I need to take action in reading book club books. For the book club reading by candlelight for May, we are reading Monsters Born and Made. I am really excited to get to this because this, I believe, was my pick that we put up to voting for the poll, so I'm really excited to get to that one, and it will knock one off of my Goodreads TBR. Next, we have Full Moon in Capricorn. The end of a tough cycle approaches, and I'm going with the cycle theme and going with The Cycle by Shailene Gupta. This is confronting the pain of periods in PMDD. It's a nonfiction book that I picked up from the library. The inside flap says, most days, Shailene Gupta was the person she always aspired to be. She was hardworking, she excelled at her job, and she was beloved by her partner. But every month, like clockwork, it all came crashing down. As she was devastated by pain, her hard-fought work and her relationships suddenly would feel meaningless. After years of struggling to get an answer from doctors, Shailene learned that she was one of millions who lived with premenstrual dysphoric disorder, a severe form of PMS. The physical and mental effects of this disorder are undeniable, but for decades, some doctors didn't consider PMDD a real condition. How could so many people be suffering at the hands of a chronic condition that doesn't even exist? The Cycle uncovers a hidden epidemic, delivering the definite portrait of a widespread chronic illness most people haven't heard of. From a historical overview of feminist debates to the on-the-ground interviews and a searing critique of menstrual stigma, Shailene Gupta lays out how disregard for this disorder has left too many people scrambling for appropriate health care. Deeply researched, movingly intimate, and refreshingly hopeful, this book is they have tape right over it. Essential for any curious reader, especially those navigating a world ill-equipped to support their health. So, I was wandering the shelves at the library. Like every once in a while, I will wander the nonfiction shelves at my local library and pick out books that stand out to me, and this happened to be one of them, because I've been wanting to read more about like reproductive health and like just topics about sex and stuff like that, because it is an important topic that doesn't get talked about enough, and considering I myself have reproductive issues, reading more about it I feel like will hopefully make it a little bit less daunting, and I can like pick up some tips to kind of how to deal with my own issues that I haven't thought about before. So I'm going to read that. Then New Moon in Cancer, you and your loved ones are safe. For this card, I'm going with a book that my loved one had picked, which is a book my sister picked out for me. It is Gilded by Marissa Meyer. Marissa Meyer has become one of her favorite authors. So we've read, now I'm blanking on Heartless. That's the book. We've read Heartless by her together as a buddy read, and I enjoyed it. I've read Cinder by her like years ago. I'll need to do a reread before I finish that series, but I enjoyed that when I read it. So I'm going to try out Gilded and see how I like it. New Moon in Gemini, communication is key. With the communication part, I'm going to go with another book club book, and for the Someone to Be book club that I'm hosting in the Witchathon Discord, we will be reading The Dabbler's Guide to Witchcraft for the month of May. So I am interested in getting to this. I am woefully behind on Someone to Be book club books, hence the reason why I moved it to Discord. That way we can, whenever we get to those books, we can chat about them when we get to them, kind of thing. I'm not going to be like pushing a deadline on those anymore. Having a deadline for one book club is enough for me. So Someone to Be is just going to be relaxed. So that's a NetGalley book that I received a while ago that I've been meaning to get to, and I love the cover. That's what drew me to it originally. It was the cover super pretty, so I am excited for that. Second to last card, Full Moon in Aries, a fiery climax approaches, and I'm assuming this is going to be the case for this book, but I'm going to go with A Dowry of Blood by S.T. Gibson. I am picking up this book due to being recommended to me by Allie from Hardback Hoarder, and I was gifted this copy from Tiara from Aubrey Books and Coffee. I won this in one of her giveaways. It's such a beautiful cover. I've been dying to get to it. Another case of other books catching my attention at the time, so I am excited to get to it and for it to be in future vlogs. And finally, the last card, Cardinal Moon, Be Bold and Make the First Move. So I'm using this to start a new series and start a manga series at that. And also a book recommended by a friend. My friend Aspasia. She recommended me to start Delicious in Dungeons, Volume 1. Jordan's been watching this anime on Netflix for the last really a couple of months as they've been coming out, and he's been really enjoying it, and I've been seeing snippets of it as he watches it, so I'm interested in starting the manga. But yeah, those are the 12 books, if I counted it right, that I should try to get to in the month of May. Let me know in the comments below if you had read any of these books, what your thoughts on them are, and like this video if you enjoy this kind of content, and subscribe to keep up to date with any new future videos. And until then, you guys.
Sounds of the snow.